pretty stacked. They're going to be tough to beat.
50-50. I don't follow baseball. I just like the playoffs, but
Yeah, same here. If I go to the game or the playoffs. Yeah.
Perfect. You ready, recording? Whenever you're ready, Chair.
I'd like to call, is it on? Yep. I'd like to call to order the Planning Commission meeting for October 7th, 2025. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Williams, will you please start us off?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. City Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Thank you, Chair. Let the record reflect that Commissioner Acey and Commissioner Wege are both absent today.
Does anybody have any conflicts of interest in today's agenda? Let the record reflect that there are none. Mr. City Clerk, are there any changes or deletions to the agenda?
No changes, Chair.
Is there, at this time, is there anybody who would like to make public comments? There are no members of the audience for public comment today. There are no presentations. We have no approval of minutes. That brings us to item E. Amendments to Title 18 of the Cloverdale Municipal Code to incorporate objective design and development standards for multifamily and mixed-use projects.
you want to go? Sure. Thank you, Chair. As you know, over the last few years, we've been amending our codes to reflect new laws that the state of California has passed. Senate Bill SB 35. It's hard to keep them all in order, but SB 35 requires, well, I think we mentioned this before, objective design standards. So basically, they want to eliminate things like the development should fit in with the character of the neighborhood, things like that, where people can't, it's hard to quantify and hard to really put a handle on what exactly that is. So we're moving more towards very prescriptive design standards. We didn't really have to amend. We have our two consultants, Luke and Eli from Four Leaf, who have been helping us with this. And we didn't have to really amend too much in our code, and we'll let them talk about the amendments that they're proposing. This will get us in conformance, we think, with SB 35. Again, if that law hadn't occurred at the state level, we probably wouldn't be doing this. I mean, I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. It's probably a good idea ultimately. But we didn't really have to amend too many things. There wasn't a lot of subjective things in our code, design code, to begin with. So we can turn it over to them unless you want to say something, Ralph.
We'll just clarify that the change was, the changes for specifically for residential and multifamily, specifically multifamily projects. So it's not, when we might review an industrial building or a commercial building, something like that, we will still have, design standards that are in the code, that those aren't changing. This is just related to the residential portion and specifically multifamily residential. I'll turn it over to our consultants. Luke and Eli want to take it over from here. And after they're done, if you have any questions for staff, and we'll provide you the recommendation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Raphael and City Manager Thompson. Good evening. My name is Luke Lindenbush with Four Leaf, Project Manager for the Objective Design and Development Standards Project. And before I jump in, just want to see, or do we want to bring up the slide deck, or I can just kind of give a brief presentation of? Okay.
Yeah. Do you need it, or?
Either way.
Where is it? Do we? I don't think we have it.
That's okay. I can. That's all good. I can just give a high-level overview of the Objective Design Development Standards. So first and foremost, Four Leaf has been consulting with the city for the last 4 years or so. First, I served as project manager for the housing element update for 2023 to 2031, and then after that, had some code amendments to implement the housing element to zone for a variety of housing types, remove some subjective language from the city's code that was out of conformance with Senate Bill 330, which is the state legislation that requires objective design and development standards. So we already took out some of the subjective language in the residential design standards and just had some minor edits to that, along with the fence ordinance within Title 18 City Zoning Code, and also have proposed adding new objective design and development standards. So those standards would apply to any projects that use streamlining under a number of different state laws. That's inclusive of SB 35, as City Manager Thompson referenced, Senate Bill 330, which allows for a pre-application process for many different types of mixed-use and multifamily development projects. And every year there's new streamlining legislation that requires these objective design and development standards to be utilized. So instead of taking the approach of having a separate set of standards that development applicants could use for project that wasn't under a streamlined application process, we really just wanted to make sure that we could have a very straightforward application process, a set of criteria for objective design and development standards that could be used for all multifamily and mixed-use projects throughout the city. So we really led with the intention of making sure that there was only standards that were objective in there that don't require any subjective judgment to be able to interpret. And really making it so, those standards could apply to just about any project that comes in. There's a number of different approaches to objective design and development standards that we've seen throughout the state. Some of them are 300-400 pages long and really regulate every single aspect of the building form. And really, we wanted to make sure that the objective design and development standards that we developed for Cloverdale were focused on issues of public health and safety and really, basic design issues to make sure that, there are products that are aesthetically pleasing and also can really be delivered without adding unnecessary cost or time delay onto the project, creating unnecessary burden on applicants or on staff as they move forward with processing those applications. So we really wanted to focus on a couple of key areas unique to Cloverdale and increasingly not very unique to the state of California, but fire hardening was one issue that we really looked at, making sure that the materials that are incorporated within the objective design and development standards can be considerate of the fact that the city has a number of high and very high fire hazard severity zones. Really looking at incorporating other aspects of the city's code and just harmonizing it throughout through different standards like existing density and development standards, open space requirements, consistency with the fence ordinance, really just making sure that it could be as integrative throughout the rest of the code as possible. So that's essentially where we're at with the objective design and development standards and what we're recommending for the ordinance to move forward for recommendation to the City Council this evening. I'm happy to go into any of the aspects of the proposed amendments to the zoning code to establish the objective design and development standards or provide any answers to any other questions that you may have about the process or how it'll look. And so just want to thank the city for the opportunity to continue to work on Cloverdale's housing policy. Also want to shout out Eli Areola, who's served as project lead, assistant planner on the Four Leaf team, and native Cloverdale resident who's really been involved from day one on this project.
Well, thank you.
So, you can see we didn't have to do a lot, which is kind of our direction to Four Leaf. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel. So I think this is really great that you guys were able to get us into conformance without having to do a ton of things. And once you change one thing in the code, then it sometimes affects others. So you're just chasing it around. So thank you. Good job.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to start us off? You guys have some questions? No? Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just had just a general overview question. My understanding is that these changes are done in order to comply with the state regulations. And I also know that the state regulations really handcuff the local municipalities with regards to what they can impose on certain projects. And I'm just wondering if in the process any consideration was given to additional objective standards that the city might desire that are not necessarily required under state law. I mean, purple piping is something that came to my mind, and I'm sure there are others. I just want to know that the view is not solely directed at compliance with the state law, but also looking at the entire macro of how the planning is done to ensure that additional things that the city might find favorable are taken into consideration.
I could start off, when we first embarked on this, the applicants asked us, essentially, how far did the city want to take it? Do we want to go into single family or even, commercial? Like I said, we could have taken it a lot farther, essentially, but we decided just to stick with multifamily.
I know that the new high fire maps put a lot of Cloverdale into the high fire zone. Are there any other areas that we can or have considered that we would want to make WUI to reduce the density in certain areas that maybe aren't high fire zone? Or can we do that as part of the objective standards?
What's the question? It's
Just
increased
are
them?
there, in addition, because like we currently, like they moved more areas into
Right.
high fire, but I guess like I'm thinking of the Asti Road project, which was medium fire when we looked at it. And my question is, are there areas like that that maybe aren't designated high fire, but could we have it as an objective standard that it has to meet the criteria of a high fire zone, of a WUI zone to, maybe make it a little bit more difficult to have high density building in some of these areas that could be risky, even though maybe we're saying they're not exactly high fire zone, but
Yeah.
they're close to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think some of that bears out in the building code. So the way that they have to build certain windows and all the
Right.
fire stuff can be expensive. I don't know. I'd have to research that. We are going to be in the process of updating our building code, which is going to start next year, something we have to do every 2 years. So we do have some flexibility in that process to add things that are more strict than what the state requires. We generally don't because, the state code is pretty strict to begin with. So, and the fire department does weigh in on the adoption of the building code because certain sections are related to their, fire stuff. So, I don't know. Those maps were created by Cal Fire, and along with the maps are certain things that you're supposed to do if you're in those areas. And what you're saying is, can we apply those things to other areas? I think that's what you're asking.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll look into it. I think we probably could. We might get challenged. I know there's things in the building code like higher energy efficiency things that we can choose tier 1, 2, 3. Those are already spelled out, and the city can make the determination of which tier they want to be on. I've never heard of that for fire stuff, but maybe it's a possibility.
I can jump in as well, just on with regard to the objective design and development standards. So any developments that come through in the very high fire hazard severity zones are required to comply with Chapter 7A of the California Building Code, which set out a number of very rigorous fire hardening measures. So it wouldn't necessarily stop the development from going through, but would require that the materials, setbacks, things along those lines would be up to that level of standard as set by the building code. With regard to very high fire hazard severity zones and streamlining, SB 330 projects, for example, cannot move forward in those zones. And there's a number of other streamlining provisions, small lot subdivision law as well, that restricts those kind of developments from moving forward in the very high fire hazard severity zone. While the maps are set by CAL FIRE, there are options for local agencies to upgrade the classification of certain zones from moderate or high to higher. You can't downgrade them from what the CAL FIRE assignment is, but that is an option if there's local knowledge that signifies that there are certain areas that maybe do have a higher level of hazard, fire hazard, than was noted by the state. That's something that could move forward in a local process. And I'll also just note too, with regard to the building code revisions. There were a set of budget trailer bills that went through this year, went into effect on July 1st, that dealt with a number of different aspects of environmental law, one of the largest reforms to CEQA in California history, and that included a moratorium on some aspects of revisions to building codes, not all. So there's a few more restrictions in terms of what local amendments to building codes can be made through, I want to say 2033 2033. We can check on that number for sure, but there is a moratorium in effect for building code revisions as well. So some opportunities, some challenges within there, but wanted to explore a little bit of that as well.
Okay. I guess where I was kind of going with this is that we are, tethered to build certain types of developments, and we have, in cases, had to approve ones that were in areas that could, be, that have been close to fire zones and that could be problematic if there were a large, fast-moving wildfire. And this, to me, seems like a way, because my understanding is the objective standards, and I don't know if that would necessarily be an objective standard, but my understanding is that we can't say that once somebody proposes a development that, oh, well, no, because we think this is going to be high fire. We have to have that in place prior to the development. We can't analyze it once something's put forward. So that's kind of where my mind was at, was this, that would be a way that we could restrict these large developments in areas that maybe aren't the best area, because we are in a rural area where fire is an issue. And so that would kind of be not necessarily a loophole, but just be a way of being very pragmatic about an issue that, really some developments shouldn't be built in high fire, dangerous areas. And as it was pointed out on that one, that wasn't enough for health and safety for us to be able to say, no, even though there's been 80 fires in a year and a half within a mile stretch behind it, doesn't matter. So that's just.
No, I understand. I don't know the answer. I mean, I will bring it up when we start talking about the building code, which is going to be next month. The consensus kind of at the council when we had to adopt the CAL FIRE maps was we wanted them to move it back and not make our entire town a giant, red.
Yeah.
And the fire chief was, thinking it was overkill a little bit, the way they mapped it, and there's really no appeal process or anything. So that was that. But you're asking about a more specific type of development, and so I understand. I'll when it comes up, I'll bring that up.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
One technical question, and that's with regards to the amendments. I note that in materials that we received, section 18930, the subsection D is omitted from the original municipal code, and that's the section that talks about chain link fencing not being allowed in the certain downtown areas. And I just wanted to make sure that that provision was not going to be taken out of the municipal code.
Yeah, no, that part's staying. Yeah, the changes is in the red. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Chain link is not allowed downtown.
Not
And that doesn't change.
Yeah, that's not changed.
Yeah, I kind of thought that just the provisions that were being changed of that subparagraph were included. I just wanted to make sure of that. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All righty. Can I get a motion then, or to adopt, or?
Yeah, there's a resolution recommending the amendments to the council. Since it's in the code, the council is the final say on it, but the planning commission is required to make a recommendation that we'd bring to council in the next month or so. So there is a resolution. Somebody can read the top and make a motion.
Before we move to a motion, if you can officially open up and close the public hearing, since it's an official public hearing.
Good catch, Mike.
Sorry.
We don't do public hearings as often.
I know. You didn't give me a script.
I know.
Just kidding.
I'm only here 2 days a week.
Are there any members of the public at this time that would like to comment on the current item, amendments to Title 18 of the Cloverdale Municipal Code? Let the record reflect there are no members of the audience present, of the public in the audience present. Sorry.
I can go for it.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to move to adopt the resolution recommending that the Cloverdale City Council adopt an ordinance amending Title 18 of the Cloverdale Municipal Code to adopt objective design standards.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I second.
May I have a roll call, Mr. City Clerk?
Sure, we can actually do a, all in favor, say aye if you'd like.
All in favor? Aye.
Perfect. All opposed? Perfect. Motion passes.
Luke, Eli, thank you guys for your contributions. All right, there's no new business today. Do any of the commissioners have any commissioner reports? Department reports.
Okay, thank you. I'll just run through some things that are happening. The council adopted the CEQA document for the Soda Springs open space at the last meeting, so the work has started on the parking lot and the trails. They did identify in the CEQA document potentially some areas of sensitive wildlife, so that they're going to have to wait till spring. It really won't be that big of a delay. I mean, there's a small stretch of trail that's shown on the map that can't be completed until they do this biological survey to make sure. I can't remember what it was, but it was a plant. But anyway, it will be 99% open, hopefully by the end of the year, and then they'll do that survey. Worst case, they just won't build that little section of trail. Mike just put up with the police department's help a survey about e-bikes on our website. So if anyone's interested in that, we're trying to figure out if we want to get some regulations about those, but we're just looking for a little background information on what the community thinks about that. And I did mention our next meeting is November 4th, probably be canceled, but we are at this point on November 12th planning a joint meeting with the city council to start to review Esmeralda project. So we'll probably have you guys maybe sit right here and you'll be able to ask questions. They'll give a presentation and it'll be kind of a discussion. And then, afterwards you can either stick around for the rest of the meeting or you can take off. So we'll have that in the beginning. I think that's it. Am I missing anything, you guys? Oh, the other just kind of a fun thing. We are coordinating with the chamber for a pretty big Halloween thing. I think last year we noticed there was like just tons of kids. And so this year we're going to actually close the street and we're going to set up as a city at the stage and make a spooky scene and give out our candy there and have music playing. Yeah, there's some discussion of Pix doing their grand opening that day too, but I'm not sure if that's happening. So anyway, it's going to be really fun. So if anyone wants to come down to the stage and help us give out candy or participate, Mike, you got anything on that? I mean,
I just wanted to mention, I know our member from the police department just sent you an RSVP to our holiday shindig at the end of the year. So if you can please RSVP to that, we're hoping that all the commissioners and their family members, loved ones, kids can join us. So just if you can RSVP soon so we can get a final head count, that'd be great.
and you'll notice on the council agenda tomorrow, if you check it out, we are in escrow to purchase the property, I guess, south of the plaza.
You guys got that. The city got that real quick, okay.
It's on the agenda, so I feel like we can announce it now at this point. The agenda's on the website, so yeah, we're in escrow. And there'll be a lot more discussion. I mean, I think the main goal is to expand the plaza, and so we'll be looking for a lot of community input on that. So it's pretty exciting.
That is exciting. That includes the barber shop and the laundromat. And is that just that square or are there other buildings?
The old, what was it called, the trading post or
in
the
trading-
outpost?
or
Close
outpost,
out, yeah.
So that's part of it too.
Okay.
What about the, on the corner of State Farm or the insurance?
It's its own, it's a separate lot, yeah. You can check out the agenda report on the website, so.
Is that it? We're good? Okay.
That's it.
I will adjourn this meeting to the next regular meeting scheduled for November 5th at 6:27.